drinking wouldn't have allowed me to explore this other area of me and kind of was keeping me at this level. Like drinking, when you're drinking a lot, never elevates you. It never progresses you forward. All it does is just keep you here. Keeps you here. You know, you never have heard anybody ever say that I am really glad I started drinking again. Nobody's ever said that because there's no reason to be glad if you've stopped and you've seen the positive aspects that drinking has made towards your life being improved in every way, shape, or form. It's like there's no reason to look back, and that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm really not even like, oh, I'm 100 days sober. I hope I can make it 100 more. I'm almost like drinking isn't even a thing for me anymore. I don't drink, and life has gotten so much better without drinking in every way. So I know a lot of people hit me up on Twitter about being sober. I know a lot of people always ask me questions about it. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. I want to form a place where people can get together and talk about issues with addiction. It doesn't have to be limited to alcohol. It can be any other addiction. I know there's every addiction out there. And even if you're having a hard time in life with depression, if you're having a hard time in life with your family, with work, anything, I know that everybody needs somebody to talk to, and not everybody has somebody to talk to. So I'm going to use Ruin Your Day as a platform for that. Every week on Wednesdays, I haven't decided a time yet, probably around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to have Ruin Your Day live for an hour. And basically what's going to be happening is the chat is going to be live, and that's going to be used as the floor for everybody to talk. I might be on a video feed answering questions to the chat. I might pull up some music that Ruin Your Day made to play. I might play some video in the background. It's going to be sort of a free-form vehicle type of feed. There's not going to be really a set thing that we're doing. The only thing that I want to go on is I want people to feel like it's a safe place to come into and talk and vent, talk to other people, maybe give advice. I'll be in there if anybody wants to ask any questions about being sober. I can give whatever advice I can for that. And yeah, essentially, I just think there needs to be a place like that. I think AA works really well for a lot of people because it's a community. It's a strong-knit community. You have a sponsor that holds you accountable for not drinking. You have other people that are going through the same thing as you. You realize there's a whole world out there of people that just don't drink. And that's rare these days, honestly. So I want there to be a place like that on Ruin Your Day doesn't have to be just limited to alcohol. It could be anything. You know, like my parents went through some heart problems this year, and that really devastated me. So, you know, I needed somebody to talk to about that. My ex-girlfriend's dog that I really love got cancer. My close friend just had cancer. So it's been tough for me as well this year, and I'm really thankful that I've had Ruin Your Day to talk to you guys about battle rap and forget about the troubles in my life, but I want to give back, and I want to create a platform where we can all come together and sort of be each other's shoulder to lean on every now and then. So just wanted to make this video to talk about me getting sober, my experience with it. Honestly, to wrap this up, being sober is like probably the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. Me breaking up with my ex-girlfriend that I love to this day has been the best thing that's ever happened to me too as well. It's really like jump-started me to make big improvements in my life that I'm really proud of. And yeah, I mean, I think anybody out there that's struggling with addiction, the first question you need to ask for yourself, if you're thinking that you might have a drug problem, alcohol problem, any sort of problem, is if I'm asking myself if I have a problem, I might have a problem. Do you want to take the next step to solving it? Do you want to get clean? Do you want to get sober? And all I can say is being sober is amazing. It's great. I would never trade it for anything. It works really well for me. Other people can drink responsibly. I'm not one of those people. I can't drink responsibly at all. So, yeah, guys, I just want to thank you all for helping me through my year of sobriety. You guys really made a huge difference in my life. I want to thank everybody out there that supported Ruin Your Day, all the patrons, all the people that did a watch episode, all the guests, all the people that tuned in for watch, everybody that bought merch, everybody that bought music. It means the world to me. So thank you guys. How's everybody doing today? Ruin an hour. Thank you guys for joining me on this Wednesday afternoon for another episode. This is a safe place for anybody to come in and talk about anything from addiction, sobriety, life, anxiety, depression, work, relationships, anything you don't have a place to talk about in your real life, or maybe you're scared of judgment. This is a zone where you can talk about anything judgment-free. So how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a decent day. And if you're struggling with anything, feel free to talk about it now. I got the chat up on the screen for anybody that wants to, reference what I'm talking about. And this video will not go public after this session is done. So if you guys want to talk about anything, you're afraid of something getting out, this stays here, essentially. So, how is everybody doing? Yes, this is the LOM Victory shirt. Yep, Hollow hooked me up. Maddie, so you were talking about you needed this today. Do you want to dive into that, about why you needed this? Maybe we could open up with something like that. A lot of these sessions, I don't want to just be about me completely, because I really only have experience with so much in life. I only have experience with alcoholism and sex addiction and very few other actual addictions. So things such as drug use I'm not really experienced in, and anxiety and depression. So if anybody wants to open up the floor for discussion on that, I would be more than happy to talk about those things. That'd be great. How do you deal with relapse and the feelings of shame that comes with it? That's tricky. That's really tricky if you happen to relapse into an addiction you're dealing with. If you do that, the important thing is to know that today, the only thing I've been thinking about this quote a lot recently. I read this book that I actually was going to talk to you guys about called Emotional Agility by Suzanne David. I finished it. I've been traveling a lot for battles. Basically, next weekend I'm going to be in Boston, and that's going to be the end of a 6-week tour that I've done, where I've been out of LA every single week for 6 weeks. But the good thing about traveling is on the plane I get to read, and I actually have enjoyed it a lot, because in my regular life I don't get to read. But in this book, she brings up this quote that's really cool that I like to reference when talking about relapsing, or maybe you do something that you're not proud of and you kind of have a lot of guilt and it brings a lot of shame into your life. The past is not real. Let me just read the quote exactly how it's written down. If I can find it in time. But I really liked this quote about how the past isn't real, and that the only thing that's real is the present. So the past is not real. So if you relapse, the only thing that matters is right now. So getting back on the wagon and just putting one foot in front of the other and not being hard on yourself. You can take accountability and know that you did something wrong, but not having shame overwhelm you, and not being kind to yourself is really important. I think nowadays we're really in the habit of being really hard on ourselves, and we see that as a sign of strength, when really it's a lot more realistic to be kind to yourself, because we're all human, we all make mistakes. So falling off the wagon is completely human. We make mistakes, we fall. The important thing is how we get back up, because there's never been success without failure. So if you're succeeding at something and you never fail, chances are you're not really succeeding at what you're trying. You're just getting by. So don't overwhelm yourself with shame if you relapse. So just wanted to get that out of the way. The episode with Lush talking about addiction was really good. If you guys want to hit me up for
any episodes of this, I'm more than happy to share them with you. I don't know if anybody has a problem with that, let me know. But I think that would be a really good thing to do that. If you guys have an episode that you miss, I know not everybody's able to tune in live all the time, and you guys have jobs, and this is kind of like at the end of the workday, so just let me know. Yep, we will learn more from our failures, that's for sure. Failure is inevitable, like you're gonna fail, and if you're not failing, that means you're not succeeding, really. Man, I like wrote down tons of this that was in this book. This book was really good. It had a lot of cool things in it that I applied to a lot of things in my life that if you guys want to read it, I definitely highly suggest it. But I'm just going to kind of read a couple things from it that maybe you guys will dig. Emotional agility is the absence of pretense of performance, which gives your actions greater power because they emanate from your core values and core strength, something solid and genuine and real. We reach that level of real, that level of emotional agility, not through magic, but through a series of tiny steps in everyday moments over the course of a lifetime. Here's how you can start this journey today. Appoint yourself the agent of your own life and take ownership of your own development, career, creative spirit, work, and connections. Accept your full self. Rubbed off nose, shabby ears, good and bad emotions, the whole package, with compassion, courage, and curiosity. So that's something that if like you guys fail at anything in life, whether that being you drink and you've been sober for a while, you do something that you're trying to get away from, just being kind to yourself because that's part of you. Welcome your inner experience, breathe into them, and learn through contours without racing for the exit. So kind of learning to like really sit with your emotions and not brush them off and try to always feel good, because that's what a lot of people I feel like nowadays have the tendency to do. If they don't always feel positive, they want to replace a negative emotion with a positive one, and that's actually impossible. You can't do that, and it's really unhealthy to do that because then you're just suppressing emotions and you're bottling emotions, and essentially that bottlement is going to get under so much pressure that it's going to come out in some toxic way. So learning how to like work through things and navigate negativity is really, really important. Embrace an evolving identity and release narratives that no longer serve you. Let go of unrealistic dead people's goals by accepting that being alive means something getting that, let go of unrealistic dead people's goals by accepting that being alive means sometimes getting hurt, falling, being stressed, and making mistakes. So what she's referring to as dead people's goals is this concept she refers to as who are the people that are never stressed, never make mistakes, never wrong, and like basically never go through any hardships in life, and that's people that are dead. Everybody deals with stuff like that, and that's natural. You have to deal with that living life. So, letting go of having that idea that your life is going to be stress-free and perfect all the time, and learning to embrace that stuff because it comes with being alive. Free yourself from pursuing perfection so you can enjoy the process of loving and living. And that's something that I posted a quote today that said, change is a process, not an event. And I think that's, to kind of go off that idea of loving the journey of life, not the destination, because life is not a destination, it's a journey, and the journey is the enjoyable part, the destination isn't. Open yourself up to the love that will come with hurt, and the hurt that will come with love, and to the success that will come with failure, and the failure that will come with success. So that also applies. Abandon the idea of being fearless, and instead walk directly into your fears with your values as your guide toward what matters to you. Courage is not an absence of fear. Courage is fear walking. So I think a lot of people think courage is just like being fearless, but courage is actually walking through your fears, is being afraid of something and walking into it, and not necessarily being like, absent of fear, but being mindful of fear and still pursuing it. Choose courage over comfort by vitally engaging with new opportunities to learn and grow, rather than passively resigning yourself to your circumstances. That kind of like, it deals with the concept of being whelmed, but not overwhelmed. and also not underwhelmed as well. It's just being whelmed, like right there in the middle, so you're not like overwhelming yourself, but you're not underwhelming yourself in your life. Recognize that life's beauty is inseparable from its fragility. We're young until we're not. We're healthy until we're not. We're with those we love until we're not. So just, the realistic aspects of life. Learn how to hear the heartbeat of your own why, and finally remember to dance if you can. So that was, kind of corny to end it off, but it's a really good book, Emotional Agility, Susan David. Highly recommend it if you guys want to go check it out. It's hella fucking tight. But yeah, I wanted to read that really quick before we get into this. I thought that was a great book and gave me a lot of inspiration with what I'm going through right now. I'm still dealing with heartbreak, and that wave never stops hitting you every day. So that book really put a lot of things in perspective and helped me navigate some things that I'm currently dealing with in my life. So, but let's talk to the chat. What do you guys want to talk about? It's called Emotional Agility by Susan David. Emotional Agility. It's hella good. Check it out. Maddie, cool. But Maddie, do you want to talk about what you've been going through, man? I know that you have been dealing with an addiction of your own. Do you want to step forward and talk about that? I can't physically call you on this. We don't have like call set up. But if you wanna type a little bit and we could go off that. I wish I could call. I could like speaker call and hold it up to my mic, but that would be kind of weird probably. The language of letting go. I'll check that out. It seems like a good thing. Letting go is definitely really hard for me. That's for sure. So I need to work on that a lot, and I know that. The language of letting go, though. I feel like I need a hobby, and I want to start going to the gym and working out, but I don't know where to start. You don't necessarily need to join a gym if you just want to be active. It could be as simple as to end off your day taking a walk around a block, and just do that every day, and then the next week walk another block, and then another block, and then maybe on the weekends try to go hiking. Like, it can be as simple as that. You don't need to join a gym, but if you do join a gym, all I can say is just go and do it, man. Like, you're gonna learn as you go. Research a workout routine. If you want to hit up me, I'm a gym rat. I can give you some advice on what to do, what workout plans align with your goals. I'm by no means an expert on that, but I can help you. So if you want to hit me up on Twitter, I'd be down. Would it be helpful to have somebody talk about mental health along with talks of addiction? Totally would be. I think that's highly important as well. Because emotional and mental health definitely goes hand in hand with addiction issues as well, and with everything else. So I think I'm really glad that nowadays people are more open to talk about issues like that and address issues. So I think that's extremely important. But yeah. Hop on WAG or Rover and make some money at getting yourself more active by walking local dogs. That's awesome. That's hella cool. I would be hella down with that. I miss my dogs so much. I would hella be down to walk dogs. Dogs are amazing. They're like dopamine in its purest form. Kyle, do you think a healthy diet and a healthy mind directly correlate with each other? 100%. I think being healthy in general is essential to being mentally healthy as well. I know it's corny, but I saw a quote by Jim Carrey recently. I guess it's not corny, but it was a really good quote. Let me see if I can find it really fast. Jim Carrey quote on depression. This was really good. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it. But he talked about, depression is real. Depression is very real, but if you're not eating healthy, getting enough sleep, and getting exercise, then you're definitely going to go against an uphill battle. So I kind of live my life by that mantra heavily now. I get at least 8 hours of sleep a night. That didn't used to be the case. Obviously on events, it's very different. I don't get that much sleep. But when I'm home during the week and doing like Watch and Ruin Your Day and editing and stuff like that, I get a lot of sleep. And I also eat incredibly good now. I don't even drink anything that's not water. Like I drink a gallon or more of alkaline water a day. I don't drink coffee anymore. I don't drink juice, really. I drink juice when I go to Florida and I can have good juice. But I feel like I'm in the best mental and physical shape I've ever been in, and I think that's essential to having a good relationship with your inner self. Yep, social assassin, post away, Maddie. Let's get it. Amy, Jim Carrey, I think just kind of, I don't know. I think he stopped doing roles in the limelight, but he's an incredible person. I don't really want to categorize him as a genius or anything, but he said some pretty profound things that I love. Best advice I've given, no matter what you are going through and how crappy life is being to you, there's somebody in the world that would love to be in your shoes and have your problems. 100% agree, man. With my personal issues recently, as I've been pretty sad over heartbreak recently. And to put things in perspective, I do what I love for a living. I film battle rap, and I can make enough money to live off of it. I fly to a new city every weekend. I live in Los Angeles. I get to work out for 4 hours a day. The only thing in my life is heartbreak that's making me sad right now. I'm sober. I'm so happy in life, and I'm so blessed. So it's yeah, I totally empathize with that. I know a lot of people would kill to be in my shoes right now. All right, Maddie. Did you type it up? All right. We're going to talk to a good friend of mine, Matt. He's been dealing with addiction, and he's been using this show heavily as a bedrock of support. So let's give him the floor. So he says, so today the girl I buy my benzos from sells me her whole script. She was mad when I said no, but I had money and was in the car, easy to go buy them. Sat there for 6 hours fighting with myself and hit Kyle and Nick. Nick is Lush. They really helped me, and the girl didn't care about my sobriety. She just cared about her money, but I realized how mentally strong I am today. So that's incredible. I want everybody to just know how strong Matt is for going through that, for recognizing that you had every single way of getting triggered into going into your inner circle and practicing that one thing that you're trying not to do, and that's your addictive habits. So congrats on that. You're so strong, Matt. Really, really, just be kind to yourself and know that you have the power now to not do that, and you have the power to say no, and it's within yourself. Especially when it's you have the money there and you could buy it if you want to. And when people are pressuring you to do it too, because that's the problem that a lot of people suffer from, myself included, is that pressure kind of sometimes makes you give way and do things you might have not in the first place. So, Matt, it's amazing, man. Super proud of you. Stay strong, dog. That's amazing. Yeah, resisting the temptation is really, really hard. It's really rough when you have every way of doing something, when you have the money in your pocket and you can go do that addictive thing that you think is going to make you feel so good. It's going to feel so gratifying. But the thing is, I always think about how I'm going to feel after, and that's always what gets me to not do that. Oh man, after I drink, I'm going to feel so shitty because that's a year away, And then am I going to really feel good after I drink? Like, sure, I'll be buzzed, but is it really going to be that fun? Is it really worth it? It's not really, man. And then especially like what else will happen? Will I start drinking a lot again? I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze with my addictions anymore at all. Like the place I'm in right now with my sobriety, I feel so much better than when I was drinking, that it's like literally a night and day difference that I feel for myself. You know, I bring up this a lot, but even like how I look, like on Watch, there's this video going around where we're watching JC versus Rum Nitty, and Geechee, I'm watching it with Geechee, Robin Rhymes, and Geechee's like, I'm drinking in it. There's like cups filled with Henny. And Geechee's like, you didn't film this, did you? And then I like give him a pound. And just like how I look, I don't know, it's just like I feel like I look so not me. I'm like super disheveled, my hair's all crazy, I look fat. I'm just like, I can tell I'm drunk. It really bothers me. So I don't know, it's kind of good that I have those like actual videos to go look back on and be like, ah, man, I am in such a better place now. All right, Brock, let's get into what you're talking about over here. So I need to be super honest. I've been clean 18 months, but I get off paper in a few months, and I still want to smoke herb even though I've been clean. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm being super fake because a lot of my super community looks up to me, but my problem was always drinking and opiates. I see. So you want to smoke weed, but you feel like that's not possible because your sober community would see you smoking weed and be like, you're not sober. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, I don't really, I personally don't smoke weed, but it's all about what you have problems with, because like for some people, they can drink socially, but they quit smoking cigarettes. I have my good friend Sloan. She drinks, but she's not an alcoholic by any means. But she actually quit smoking cigarettes. So for her, I wouldn't be like, don't drink because that's going to lead for you to smoking cigarettes, because she can, separate the two. So as long as you can separate the two of drinking and doing opiates, and then also doing weed in a manner that isn't addictive and doesn't get out of control, then I think that's fine. But that's really boils down to if you have the power within yourself and you know yourself. Excuse me. I know that I'm personally not that person. I know that if I started smoking weed, it would like, I don't know. I've never really smoked weed a lot, to be honest. I smoked weed maybe like 6 times in my whole life. And most of it was on Watch, but it's not really my cup of tea. And, but I could see myself getting addicted to it because I'm an addictive personality. So yeah, Cole Obsidian says an interesting thing. Would smoking be problematic for you? It might not be a bad thing. AA programs will tell you to be clean of everything. I still drink because I only have had 1 or 2 and I don't like. I've never gotten past, and I don't like being drunk. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's all, what about works for you? Like, a lot of things in AA didn't work for me personally. So it's it's just about what works for you in your journey. Like, I got sober in a really unorthodox way where I just quit. I just quit cold turkey. I got sober from my sex addiction, also from a pretty crazy way of just quitting what I was doing cold turkey. Yeah, I mean, it's really just about like how you guys find what really works for you, and the only way you can find that is experimenting with methods. Going to AA and being like, does this work for me or does it not? Going to other support groups, does it work for me? Does it not? If you're quitting drinking and opiates, like if you smoke weed and you're like, oh, this is fine, I can do this every now and then. Not being like, okay, I'm not going to drink and do opiates, but I'm going to smoke weed every day. You're just kind of replacing a vice and you're doing another addictive habit. So yeah. Renee, RJ, dude. If you want to tell your story, you can, man. We talked on Twitter. That was pretty amazing. A+, my diet. I just eat really clean. Like, mostly I eat like very minimal meats. I eat a lot of eggs. chicken. I'm trying to stay away from pork and red meat. When I get up in the morning, I drink a protein shake. I eat 2 bananas, and then like before I work out, I eat a protein bar and 2 bananas. I eat a lot of fucking bananas. It's probably not that good. After I work out, drink a protein shake. Then I eat chicken, broccoli, and yams. The bad thing recently, dog, is I've been like eating hella ice cream after like late at night, which is not fucking good. So I've been cheating a lot. You know, there's like this hella good ice cream place in LA that I've been like ordering from Uber Eats, and it's a problem. So I probably need to cut back on that. Piff in moderation. Yeah, I quit smoking weed cold turkey 2 weeks ago. Con, congrats on that. That's really incredible. What flavor? Cookies and cream. Yeah, cookies and cream and like this like honeycomb flavor. Yeah, I do whey. I drink a lot of these isopures. They come in like fruit flavors instead of like dessert flavors. And then they're pretty good. They have like 160 calories, 40 grams of protein, nothing else. Little sodium. They're great. Coal Obsidian, problematic eating is the worst, and I just can't seem to shake it. I'm 280 pounds. It gets too intense. Got too intense workouts 3 times a week, and then I just end up eating junk. It's the last hurdle for me. It's been there since I was a child. Yeah, I mean, eating is an addiction like everything else. So it's definitely about curving that thing and learning how to like live with a balanced diet and like learning to like eating good. Learning to feel good, and that's the thing that like kind of like my sobriety and a lot of other things has taught me is like I quit coffee. Actually, you guys helped me quit coffee because I think it was the first week we did this. Somebody in the chat was like, let's all make a pact to quit something for a week, and I chose coffee because I really don't have a lot of other things to quit. And yeah, I feel 1,000 times better after quitting coffee. So it's really about, if you're struggling with like overeating and eating a lot of junk food, is thinking about how that food is actually going to make you feel, because food is functional. Like eating good food is functional to your body. You got to eat stuff for pleasure, of course, and make things taste good, but also you got to eat stuff for function. So it's finding that middle ground of like, okay, you know, I'm going to eat brown rice, chicken, and broccoli, but I'm going to like sprinkle some feta cheese on it that tastes good but isn't really that bad for you, instead of being like, I'm going to eat a cheeseburger from Jack in the Box or like tacos every night, you know? It's about having the balance, because you got to be able to enjoy yourself sometimes, but if you are addicted to eating bad, then it's going to be something to where you need to learn to like really curve it. So, haha, Brock Jones, thank you, man. Appreciate that, dog. Matt, you haven't drank soda since. How much push-ups can I do? I have no idea. No idea. Probably, I mean, I could do 100. I know I can do that. I used to be able to, yeah, I could definitely do 100. For me, I had a diet problem. I was 100 plus over pounds. For my frame, the only thing that worked was I had to just cut it. No easing into it. It was the hardest 2 months, but it felt so good. Yeah, I mean, cutting any addiction is going to be really, really difficult for you. But, you know, if you're looking at the bigger picture and learning that, like, tomorrow is a new day and one foot in front of the other, and just learning to, like, get up and go and do your thing every day and approach your fears with courage and go into your addictions with courage, it's going to get easier. Like, all that pain is going to get easy. You know, when you first quit anything, it's really hard. Even when I quit drinking the first time, I was like, God damn, life is boring. Like, I'm so bored. Like, I can't just drink to make things fun. And I was like hella actually scared that football wasn't going to be that fun for me, because I got into football because it was an excuse to drink all day. That's how much of an alcoholic I was. But it gets better. It gets easy as time goes, you know. It's like you start to get into it. Like if you're trying to like quit overeating, you get into a good diet. You actually start to look forward to eating good. And then when you eat good and at a restaurant, you feel good about yourself. You're like, fuck yeah, I just like conquered that temptation to eat like shit. Will you ever have a chat talking about battles aside from watch? I don't know. You mean like this? We just talk about battles? Do the Army PT test. I mean, the only test I've done, I did the Murph a couple times. I made a pretty good time. I did the Murph in like 35 minutes. So that was pretty cool. Crypto raps. I've been addicted to many different drugs. Currently still in that position. We all have issues. That's the truth, man. That is the truth. How do you find the pressure of being at battles and not drinking? Or do you just find that you just focus on work? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm never pressured to drink, ever. Like last night, I was going through something pretty hard. I had like pretty emotionally upsetting conversation with my ex-girlfriend, and I went to my friend's house to talk about it because I actually haven't like really connected with him over that for a while, and it was kind of bothering me that I wasn't like really being an honest friend to him, and I was kind of like harboring feelings because I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with this. Like sometimes it's really hard to talk to the people you're close to about stuff because you feel like you're inconveniencing them. You feel like they don't want to listen to you. And a lot of the times it's really hard for me to open up because I feel uncomfortable making conversations about me. Like I feel like very uncomfortable with it. So yeah, I had a pretty difficult conversation with my ex, and I was in like a pretty like really dark place. I went over to my friend's house to open up to him about it, and I felt good about that discussion. And then I went to a bar downtown LA. It's this place called Cole's. They claim to have invented the French dip sandwich. So I went down there by myself, and I wanted to get a pastrami French dip. And yeah, I was sitting at the bar like hella sad, and I was looking at all the liquor, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm so proud that I'm not tempted to drink right now. Like the temptation just isn't there. It's like, because I know that I'll feel so much worse when I do that. I just know. I'm like, it's not even like, I'm like, I need to get out of this uncomfortable situation right now and drink, because I know that it's not going to add anything to my current experience. Alcohol, to me, doesn't add anything to my life. So when I'm at events, especially, like there's been tons of events I've worked that I've drank so much that I'm blacked out drunk. Like Blackout 5, I was blacked out drunk at, working the event. That's how much of a functioning alcoholic I was. And yeah, the fact that I don't remember certain things about battles pisses me off. So I think about that a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's in that case, I'm just like not really tempted. For sure, Matt. Appreciate that, man. It's hardest talking to those closest to you because you work so hard to create an image that they see you as and flip it and take so much courage. It's really you versus you thing. That's very true. Like, the thing is, when people ask you how they're doing, they never want to hear that you're doing bad. They always want to hear that you're doing good. And I actually found this a lot when, my ex owns a clothing store in Los Angeles, and her business wasn't always doing good, but people, when they ask you about the business, they always want to hear you being like, it's doing well, because internally you feel like a failure if you're like, it's not doing well. But the reality of business is that business is not always doing well. Like I don't know what the exact stat is, but 3 out of 4 businesses fail. Like businesses always fail, and they're struggling all the time. That's just like the reality of it. And that's the reality also of the human experience, is that like, I wish I still had that quote, but most of the emotions we feel are negative, you know? Let me see if I can find that quote again. I really liked that fucking quote. Yeah, negative moods are necessary. The 7 basic emotions, joy, anger, sadness, fear, surprise, contempt, and disgust, are mostly negative. And these are all useful. They summon a more attentive, accommodating thinking style that leads to examine facts in a fresh way. So I thought that was cool because, yeah, I mean, it is hard to like kind of shatter the mold if you're doing good in your friends' eyes and your family and like come to a real hard dialogue of being like, hey man, like for me it's like, hey, I'm still like bothered by not being with this woman that I love. You know, it still like to this day like bothers me a lot and I like am not good about it. You know, and you know, I just kind of have to live with the fact that they might be like, man, it's been a year and he's not over it. This is crazy, or like, I don't know. So yeah, I guess just like not fearing judgment is pretty hard too. Today I decided to quit cigarettes once and for all. I never made it more than a few days before relapsing. Anyone have experience with this? Eric Brewer, excuse me. Yeah, man, you know who does have experience with this is Hollow. Hollow actually has never been able to quit cigarettes for more than 2 days in his life. He's a smoker. He smokes weed. He smokes cigarettes. And you know who got him to quit? Is Lux. Because Lux is an extremely healthy, amazing human. He's like one of my favorite people I've ever met, actually. And he's so positive. And when they were in the zone writing for Chess and Tay-Rock, they made a pact that Hollow was going to quit smoking cigs. And when I went up there to visit them, he had stopped for a week. So, and he was just like over the moon, like so happy. He's like, this is the longest I've ever stopped smoking cigarettes for. And he was like, as far as I'm concerned, I already won the battle. So, yeah, quitting cigarettes is really difficult. I know that. I know there's apps you can get with like, it's like some cigarette apps so you know how many days it's been since you haven't smoked. And that's helpful for some people because then it's like a physical representation of like, oh, awesome, I've stopped for 30 days. That makes you feel good. It's kind of like when you run a mile and you're like, man, a whole mile, this is cool. I ran 2 miles, this is like all this chunk of like distance I have. You know, when you have like a time, kind of like being sober even, let's like, I've been sober over a year now. I'm like a year, that's like an amount of time. So the app could be helpful too, to quitting cigs. I still smoke after many attempts of quitting. I've heard that saying quit versus weaning or slowly down can help. Instead of quitting, say slowing down. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I just don't have, and I quit smoking cigars. I used to smoke a lot of cigars, but I was replacing the vice of drinking with smoking cigars. So really, I was just like, I wasn't, I was addicted to smoking cigars, but I feel like for some reason it's not as addictive as cigarettes for some reason, because I was able to quit super easy. And I haven't smoked a cigar since February, so it's been a while. But yeah. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate that, man. But yeah, I have lost a lot of weight since I stopped smoking cigars and drinking alcohol. I've lost, I think, like 30 pounds. And also, I eat really clean now and I run 8 miles a day, so that helps. I just go for cold turkey. Also, environment, friends, other related habits can affect the potential for a relapse. 100%. If you're trying to stop smoking and you go and do the things that you always did when you smoked, chances are you're going to want to smoke again. So replacing those habits with healthy habits instead of like going to a bar and when you drink, let's say when you drink, you get like triggered to smoke outside. I know a lot of people used to do that because it's like a thing to do, especially at a show. If you're kind of bored, you like, we'll go have a smoke outside. Instead of doing that, maybe like go exercise, do something fun, like go see a movie, stuff that you wouldn't smoke doing. Go to the beach, that's a fun one too. If you're not near a beach, go to the mountains, go to, in the outdoors, something like that. Luke, true story, he asked me what I ate and I said broccoli. Said I do eat a lot of broccoli. Rob Core. I'm doing kind of bad right now. Drinking a beer and tequila right now. Got to work tomorrow, but oh well. I'm gonna light this piff. Yeah, man. I mean, like, it's about being realistic with yourself, dude. Anytime yeah, quitting is really hard, man. Quitting is super hard. It's super difficult, especially when you're going through stuff and you're using drinking as a vice to deal with things. That's really tricky. But the thing is, I always like to think about is that you're not actually dealing with anything when you're drinking. All you're doing is numbing it. So it's like you're not really approaching your problems at all. What you're doing is you're like not even sitting in your problems. You're kind of like away from your problems and you're just like numbing yourself. And the problems are still there. They're always going to be there until you address them and go forward and take them on with a sober mindset, with a clear mindset. You can't solve anything doing a vice or an addiction. Like, I've never heard anyone ever say, I'm glad I started drinking again. I've never heard anybody say that. You know, I've heard people say, oh, last night was so fun. Like, you know, I was so glad I was around people. I was so glad I was doing this. I had a lot of fun that night. But would it be the same if you were sober? Like, you probably would have had just as much fun, you know? And especially if stuff is really rough in your life, adding drinking onto it is just going to make it harder. Like, whatever you're going through, it's going to make it 1,000 times harder. So... one thing with addiction is it is important to take it one day at a time. Completely agree with that. It's all about just taking it one day at a time and knowing that tomorrow is a new day. Today is now, and the past is not real. Devin, appreciate you, man. Deuce Savage, not gonna lie, I'm at my lowest point right now. I just stopped smoking weed, got out of the trap for a second because it's a lot I've lost and taken for granted. Hold on, sorry. So I feel punished. Any advice on how to uplift yourself? Deuce, do something positive that's gonna make yourself feel good. I always say exercise. Going out and getting some exercise is the number one thing that you're gonna do and feel better immediately. Go on a walk. Just like, if you go walk around your town, like if it's a safe spot to walk around and you can walk freely around there, go on a walk, drive somewhere and go on a walk, you know, meditate, do breathing exercises, breathe in for 5 seconds and then breathe out for 5 seconds and do that for a minute. You'll feel a lot different afterwards. But yeah, I would say exercise, eating good food and getting a good night's sleep are those really healthy things. Not binge watching TV, not doing anything like that. Finding a good reward system that doesn't really go into your inner circle is super important. All right, PC. It's totally not true, but teach his own, dog. Of course, Matt. Definitely helped a lot of people, man. You're a really strong person. Of course, Deuce. Yeah, sleep is definitely another thing we don't do enough of because it's like, I was the only tattoo I ever really wanted to get is I was going to get never sleep right here. Just so emo and corny. Thank God I didn't get it. I have no tattoos. But I used to pride myself heavy on being a super hard worker and working my ass off and like not sleeping and being able to function on like little sleep. That's just like not healthy. Like you need sleep. Sleep is natural. You need sleep to be healthy. Blue, appreciate you, man. Much love. Love you, dog. You're the man. But yeah, sleeping is definitely something we don't do enough of. So I know that's a big thing in our culture to be like, oh yeah, just work your ass off and fucking wake up and drink like 10 cups of coffee and go out the door and work for fucking 12 hours a day. Come home, binge watch a bunch of Netflix, don't talk to anybody, go on social media and send some dick pics to somebody, go to sleep, boom. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's a lot better than what it used to be, that's for sure. Social assassin, you have none either. We're rare, man. People that have no tattoos is rare. Thanks, guys. I'm staying involved this time and connected this time. Addiction likes to isolate us. When I fell away from the program, I was on route to relapse without even knowing it. Yes, exactly. Addiction does isolate you. I'm going to tell a story that's like I'm not proud of at all. When I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, I called in sick to work and went to a hotel up the street, like wasn't even that far away from here, and I started just doing a lot of bad shit, and I fucking drank. I just drank by myself for like heavily all day and night, and I didn't talk to anybody. I just sat in my hotel room and got extremely drunk. And I just remember like thinking when I was in there, I was like, I'm doing, this is the behaviors of an addict. Like this is literally like I'm an addict at the end of the day. And that's like kind of right around the time I got sober. But yeah, you isolate yourself extremely when you're in the throes of something. Damn, my brother runs home on his lunch break to take a few shots before heading back. That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, I got a hotel room because I live with my friend Ben, who also works for Ruin Your Day and shoots battles, and I didn't really want him to see me like this. I wanted just to be away, and I didn't want anybody to know like how like sad I was and like depressed, and I just wanted to like get really drunk. It's really horrible. Hell yeah, Brock. Appreciate you, my man. I was addicted to Klonopin for 15 years, all legally from docs. Yeesh. Don't really know what Klonopin is, but that's crazy. Maybe we can read some more quotes from this book. Let's see. Here's a pretty good one. Denying stress, bottling it, or brooding about it is counterproductive. Avoiding stress is impossible. Like, stress is natural, stress is supernatural, and it's part of life. You're going to be stressed. There's going to be times that you have to meet a deadline, that you have to do something that's stressful, and it's not you doing anything wrong, and you have to work through the stress. But what we can do is adjust our relationship to stress. It doesn't have to own us, we can own it. I thought that was a hella cool quote. Accepting stress, being stressed is not who you are. So accept the stress like that you do with your job. If you're stressed every now and then, it's fine, but you're not stressed. That's not you. It's just you're dealing with stress every now and then, and to have a better relationship with it. Excuse me. Calling a feeling out for a feeling and a thought for a thought instead of I'm stressed. I'm noticing that I'm feeling stressed. So just that tweaking of calling out what it is instead of being like I am this thing, I'm stressed, I'm angry. Being like, I'm noticing that I'm feeling mad, that I'm feeling stressed. Emotions pass, they are transient. There is nothing in our mental experience that demands an action. I thought that was hella cool. There's nothing in mental experience that you're thinking about that demands an action. There's nothing. It's all up there. It's all in your head. So I thought that was cool. Thought that was dope. Writing a book? I don't know, man. I'm too dumb. I'm kidding. That'd be cool. Yeah, I like that quote about stress a lot. That's like, that helped me a ton because I don't know. I like think I don't get stressed anymore, but I still get stressed, and it's fine. That's perfectly fine. You know, when you're filming Summer Impact and the last battle doesn't happen, and then you guys have to pack up, and I have to convince my film crew to film one more battle, and everybody's mad, and everybody's angry, and everybody's tired. It's kind of stressful, and it's not fun, but that's part of the job. It's part of the job. You just got to roll with the punches. Daniel Ball, 17 and a half years sober. That's amazing. It gets better and the fear of missing out wears off. People say one day at a time, but it can be one moment at a time. Yeah, that's good advice, man. That's really good advice. There's nothing in mental experience that demands an action. Powerful. Yeah, I like that quote a lot. That was cool. That was hella cool. It's all from this book, Emotional Agility, Susan David. It's really tight. I liked it. That's true. Yep. Okay. RJ, what you say? One time I took 11 2 milligrams Klonopins all at once in the airport, then bought a bottle of whiskey and drank half of it while on the plane. That's when I realized I had a problem because that would kill somebody. Yeah, RJ, that's insane. That's a crazy amount of stuff. And like Let's Talk Battle says, you're blessed to be alive, my guy. I'm glad that you're here with us. That's really heavy. That's hopefully, I mean, I was talking to you, so you obviously learned a lot from it. And I've been talking to you for a couple days about everything, so I'm glad that you learned from that experience. Kelly Betts, the man, he's also sober as well. Treat yourself like a good friend. Don't be too hard on yourself. That is great advice right there. That's amazing. That's really good advice. Definitely embracing self-help literature has been an instrument to fixing the psychologies of our generation. 100%. 100%. Effecto Lock. Avo, you truly feel like you'll get over this heartbreak? Asking personally, going through it myself. I don't know. I don't know. The thing that I've been thinking about recently, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, just to be fully transparent, it's like, I love this woman who's not in my life anymore. In the way that we were before. She's still in my life. We still talk a lot, and she's very nice, and she's still like a really good friend to me. But we're not a couple. I still love her more than I've loved anybody, and I still see a future with her, just not anytime soon, because we both have a lot of stuff to work through as individuals before we can come together and put a relationship together from a new standpoint. But the thing is, it's like, I don't know if that's possible. She's told me that she doesn't see us together in the future. There's a lot of things that I've done that are wrong when we've been single, not like just like interactions and stuff. I've like misread a lot of stuff, which is unfortunate. But I don't know if like getting over it is what I think is gonna happen. I'm accepting that we're both single. I've accepted that, and I'm really happy that we're single, because us breaking up was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was one of the best things that ever happened to her. She got out of a toxic relationship where I was like horrible to her, like I was a terrible boyfriend. And yeah, it's much better. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if get over her is going to be like the right way to put it, but I feel like as time goes on and life plays out, which is what it will, I will be accepting of what life is, because life is great, life is beautiful, and I'm like really happy with life. I love living. So it's like, you know, you think about like, oh, if I'm not with this one person, like what is life going to be like, you know, because I only see myself with this one woman or this one man, which is what I was, you know. It's like, I thought we were going to get married relatively soon. I thought we were going to have a family relatively soon. So I don't know if getting over it is the right way to put it, but it's definitely something that I'm going to work through as time goes on. So yeah, I mean, that's all you can really do, is learning to accept things as they come, accept life for how it is, and know that you can't control life. You can control yourself and how you react to things and how you think about things, but life is going to play out how it is, and you can't control life. And I think learning that I can't control how my ex feels about me, and that I can't really like just make her love me again, like that's something that I've like accepted. So yeah, Chris, it is really rough, but you know, ultimately, like, I'm happy and she's happy. Like, she's dating now, and I'm really happy about that. Like, she deserves to like be happy and like have the experience of another person in her life. Like, she deserves all that. Like, I'm like super psyched. Like, she's a lot happier without me than she was with me, so it's wonderful. You know, it's like it all turned out for the better for everybody, even if it's not like the ideal thing that I wanted. It's the best thing for both of us. Kipka, what did you say? Let's scroll up. Anxiety, depression. Catch the stream, say hello. Kid A, appreciate you, man. Hopefully you come in one day and talk about anxiety and depression. I like don't have a lot of experience with it personally, and I would love to talk about that. Sunday Venom. That's crazy, man. I'm glad you look at it from that perspective. I really wish I had a family. Like, I wish I had a kid right now a lot. Especially with my ex, I would like kill for that so hard. But, you know, respect to you, man, for being a single father. I know that's not easy at all. That's incredible that you're able to do that. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Effecto. You guys are the man. But yeah, it's been an hour, guys. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't really have any closing comments. You don't have to answer this. What's your spiritual journey been like? Are you religious in other words, am I religious? I'm not religious, but I do find that I'm kind of becoming more spiritual as I get older. Like, being connected to the earth is something that's kind of big for me, that I kind of like, people have said that I kind of like agree with. You know, in LA we have earthquakes, and when they happen, they're super fucking scary. So, you know, when that happens, sometimes I'm like, it just makes you feel more connected to what's going around you, because you learn that you really have no control on Earth. And I thought that was like super cool. They've happened recently and they're like frightening, but it's also kind of peaceful in a way, because you learn that, like, kind of like what I was saying earlier, is that life is going to happen. It's going to go some way. I want to love myself, not to sound corny. That doesn't sound corny at all, man. That sounds completely mature and adult. Chris, appreciate you, dog. That's awesome. But yeah, guys, it's been an hour. If you guys want to talk about anything else, we can wrap it up. Chit chat about it. But we're not talking about battle rap. Of course, man. I don't get fidgety on any questions at all. I'm really an open book. Top 3 of all time. MLK, Obama, and Nipsey Hussle. Yo, I'd love to make a Discord. I don't really just know much about it. I know that it's a thing. And I know that's like a chat room that's constantly going. I would love to look into that. So that would be cool. There might be some watches on Friday, A+. Gonna try to watch Big K versus Ilmac with Big K and Ilmac. So that'd be cool. That'd be dope. But yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in, ruining an hour. This has been super fun. Congrats to Matt for not going into his inner circle today. That's really incredible for you, man. Like, you definitely are a strong person for that, and you need a million praises that we can all give you for being strong. So appreciate yourself for that. And then, yeah, next week we'll be live at the same time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This isn't going to be public after we make this live end. So if you guys want to save the link, you can just copy it and save it somewhere. If you want to watch it again, just hit me up on Twitter and I'll send it to anybody. But I appreciate it so much. You guys are the shit. Hope everybody has a good day. And yeah, ruin your day. Peace out, everybody.